your hand. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Sterling's in the room, please take notes. um, but yeah, so the work that we're doing to partner with women, to partner with women-owned businesses, and really drive this conversation forward because there is so much to do. We as women, we contribute a meaningful part of the GDP of this country, and there's so much that can be done to close that gap. If we can do it successfully, then we are essentially directly impacting Nigeria's future. So it's exciting for us to be here today, and as with events like this, I hope you all have scanned and can see the agenda. You can look forward to some interesting information about gender lens financing, this important topic, the work that Sterling Bank has done and One Woman have done to drive that conversation forward, and indeed how we can partner with you to achieve your goals and experience what you want to create for your future. This conversation is so critical to the future of Nigeria. It's absolutely critical to the future of us as women, as the female gender. So I invite you all to sit, relax, enjoy the conversation. It's not one of those events that's in and we are all talked to, then we get up and we go home and we say, I went to an event this morning. No, this is a conversation. So I invite you to talk to the people around you. You will have lots of opportunities to network. So get to know each other, right? There may be somebody in here whose business is the answer or has the solution to a problem that you are trying to solve. But more importantly, we're taking a big step forward in how we support the female gender and how we close the gap in accessing formal financing. So without further ado, I would like to welcome, health and safety is very important, supposed to have a health and safety briefing. So I would like to invite member staff from the Wheatbaker Hotel to quickly take that briefing before we jump into the events. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Wheatbaker Hotel. All emergency procedure to ensure safety has been put in place. We have our arms and security personnel stationed at strategic places. We are not having any fire drill today, so there will be any false alarm. Our environment is covered with CCTV camera except the hall for privacy sake. And as the event is ongoing, our marshals will be on ground to make sure everything goes smoothly. By the entrance door there, which can also lead us to the muster point which is at the car park. At the car park there, we have our safety personnel that will direct us in case of any emergency. By the entrance there, they will have the bar, and directly opposite the bar will have the convenience. While the event is ongoing, our security personnel will be on ground to make sure everything goes smoothly. And also, our waitress will be on ground in case you need anything to make sure the event moves as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, as we get into this conversation today, remember I said this is not going to be a passive conversation. And I'm going to invite you all to trust me. Today I'm the captain of this ship. So you're going to have to place some trust in me, right? So we're going to do that first now. This is a trust exercise. Let's try and build some rapport. I want 3 people who are not Sterling ladies to put up their hand. Doesn't matter what it is you are doing, don't worry. You're safe in my hands, I promise you. I have 1 here. Ladies, we're bold, we're audacious. 2, 3, thank you. Awesome. So, I am going to start from the lady in purple because your color was striking and I noticed it. I would like you to tell us your name. I'm going to keep it simple, don't worry, I won't put you on the spot. Your name and why you're here today and what you expect to take away from the event.
Good morning. My name is Ifeoji. Can I sit down? Or? Okay, perfect. My name is Ifeoji. I am the president of the International Women's Society. My mandate for the year is basically to get female-led SMEs to a point where they are ready in all aspects of health of their entities. So investor ready, market ready, and all of that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Welcome. A round of applause for her.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mobolaji Ogundairo, and I'm here today as honorably invited as one of the panelists today. But for my own personal self, I'm here to absorb the energy that I know is going to come out of this room, because right now I really need it as an entrepreneur. Thank you.
We can clap better. Let's give her some energy. Doing business in Nigeria is not easy. Doing business as a woman in Nigeria is not easy when you add everything else we're doing. So well done, ma'am.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody. My name is Aramide Alakeja Ajay, and I'm fortunate to lead an organization called the Women Radio. The second question was my expectation. So I'm here as an observer, right, and a contributor. Anything that has to do with spotlighting women, advancing women, empowering women, I'm here for that. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Empowering women, very, very important. So I hope we are starting to get a feel for today and we're getting our energy levels up. I hope so. I won't keep you much longer. We'll jump into the very first agenda item. So please join me with a warm round of applause in welcoming our Chief Growth Officer at Sterling Bank, Edward Ogumeko, to give the official welcome remarks. Let's make him feel welcome. He's a true he for she.
Good morning, everybody. Well, the program says Abu, but unfortunately is unable to make it this morning, so I hope I can fill those shoes. Once again, distinguished partners, business leaders, valued customers, and colleagues, welcome to Funding Her Future. Let me start with this. In the past 12 months, women-led businesses in our own lending portfolio have outperformed on every metric that matters to any bank. Consistency, growth, and repayment. This was not because anyone gave them a special concession. It's because they've run really strong enterprises. That is a fact that sits underneath everything we'll be discussing this morning. I say that upfront because what we are here to discuss is not charity. The moment we frame women's access to finance as goodwill rather than good business, we have already failed. We turn an economic opportunity into a favor, and favor do not scale. What scales is conviction backed by evidence. What scales is financial institution looking at its own data, recognizing an underserved but high-performing market, and choosing to build for it deliberately. That is what Sterling has done through One Woman. One Woman exists because we believe that when a woman has the right financing, the right tools, and the right network, she does not need permission to build something extraordinary. She just needs the door to stop being locked. We focus on three things in Sterling. Capital, because access to real finance is still the biggest barrier for women-led businesses in this country. The truth is it's the barrier for any business. But for women, the barrier is even higher. Capacity, because money without knowledge is a trap. We're not here to set anyone up to fail. In Nigerian banking today, we talk about interest rates at 34%, 35%. The truth is there are businesses, even in spite of that, succeed. If anybody comes into the banking system today and you give me ₦1 million, you would ask me to give you back a return of 17%. So the truth is that me giving you that return of 17% means that my cost of funds is already high. But the question is, in spite of that, people are succeeding. So having the capacity, the knowledge to be able to utilize even those funds is quite important. And community, because the networks that open doors have already been built in rooms where women were absent. One Woman is changing that room, and that is why the theme for today, Funding Her Future, is both timely and important. The evidence is clear that women-led businesses are building resilient enterprises, creating jobs, generating revenue, and meeting the obligations. They present a meaningful and growing part of our economic future. The focus now is expansion. It is how we move from pockets of success to system-wide inclusion. It is how we make access to finance more consistent, more deliberate, and more aligned with the realities of women-led enterprise. Let me give an example. In some parts of this country, women are still not allowed to own property. So then a bank comes and says, you need to put property down as collateral, then I've locked you out. Today, we come to the table and we say that, okay, for SMEs, I don't need your building, but give me a guarantor check. Men have built networks that allows them to go to their friends and say, I beg, sign a check for me. But the truth is, women networks, though are inclusive and community, is not based on that. So if you continue to build finance and layer risk management and finance along those lines, then we're not shutting out women from finance without even knowing about it. So it requires a closer look at how capital is designed, how risk is assessed, and how opportunity is designed. It requires adjustment to systems that have not fully reflected the breadth of participants in the economy. For financial institutions like ours, it means refining how capital is structured and delivered. For development finance institutions in this room and otherwise, it means supporting and scaling models that have demonstrated results. For enterprise support organizations, it means strengthening the pipeline of investment-ready businesses. For communities and networks, it means extending reach and building trust with more women entrepreneurs. For all of us, it means recognizing the economic value of expanding access to finance in a deliberate and sustained way. At Sterling, we are committed to contributing to this work. We will continue to build, to partner, and to refine what is already delivering results. This effort will be stronger through collaboration across the ecosystem, and your presence here today is a clear signal of that shared commitment to that goal. Thank you for honoring our invitation to this important discourse. I hope it leaves us with a clearer conviction, stronger alignment, and practical next steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Edward Egumekong, the Chief Growth Officer at Sterling Bank. So we're starting to warm up to the conversation, and nothing is more engaging, sometimes some people will argue, than watching a video. You get to use most of your senses. So we have a power-packed short documentary that introduces more about the topic and the work that is being done to support it. So please turn your attention to the audiovisual screens, and can we have the video up, please?
Improved, yet disproportionately excluded from it.
JBC Adeshola, the founder of the Meat Meal. One Woman has been in existence for a while. For the past 6 months to 12 months, we've given out over 25 billion as SME loans to women-owned businesses. We have also supported over 50,000 women with capacity building, from building their businesses, helping them to structure.
Those areas around women, then even does better.
It's important to support women. Women are the backbone of any economy. In fact, giving to women is the now best thing.
Our goal in 5 years for One Woman Initiative of Sterling Bank is to reach 1 million women across businesses and careers. When we learn our voice, give access, sponsor and champion women, we don't lose ground. We expand the possibilities of growth and transformation.
Going back to the tagline, enriching lives, a woman goes beyond her business. She goes into her family, and that's what makes us different.
I think we can do better than that. Well done to Team One Woman. That is amazing. We're changing, transforming, and enriching lives. So you may have spotted her in the video, but if you didn't, you're going to meet her in person. So join me with a very, very warm round of applause in welcoming Ezine Nwankafo. She's the head of the One Woman team, doing amazing work here to share an impact presentation on the work they've been doing.
Thank you and welcome everybody. Thank you. And for honoring our invitation, we are glad to have you. Today I'm going to be talking about what we have been able to do, and also just to throw more light before the real panel comes out and they talk about all the things and all the challenges that women face across board. Okay, so first of all, I'm waiting while my slides come up. At Sterling Bank, Edward puts it just succinctly. We decided deliberately that banking on women is not just an emotional thing, it's actually good business. We've always heard that women are good borrowers, that women, they don't default easily. We've all heard the narrative, but we didn't have the numbers to prove it. But I'm glad to say that right now, anybody can challenge it, but we have the actual numbers to prove that women are good borrowers. They pay back on time. In fact, they will not even take the loan if they are not ready to take it, you know. So it's amazing. We currently have over 99.8% performing. That is amazing on all grounds. There's no place that you can see that kind of number, and it's only the women. And you heard the numbers that we did, and that's, imagine that at that high level of performance, women, we are 8. So please, let's give a round of applause for all the entrepreneurs, for all the supporters, everybody banking and backing women. We are happy to be here. So now, just to give us a general context, let me know if you can see all the way back. If you can see the slides, so that we'll know if I should just be speaking or those that can't see it. But giving us a general context, you can. All right, amazing. Giving a general context, women traditionally, and it's not even only a Nigerian thing, but globally, there's this clamor to include more women, whether it's in access to finance or in career or in every area, and not especially more so in Africa, because we are still at that. If the world, they are talking about women and they're like this and the men are up here, In Africa, we are way over here. In fact, IFC said that the gap that exists for women in Africa is around 42 billion lack of access to finance. And that's the formal credit. The big gap really is in the informal credit. So most of the women that we have, most of the women in Nigeria, they get loans, they get support from their cooperatives, from the informal areas, from the groups, the associations around them, because the banks and the commercial structures do not really support the kind of things that women can bring. And that is the narrative that we are changing, and with our partners as well. Please, let's go to the next slide. So looking at that, women and doing business for women is very important. From them not having access to the right collateral. In banking generally, what we look at as collateral, we look at the land, we look at properties, yes, we look at cash, and we look at a lot of things. But women are already at a disadvantage because culturally, women in most parts of this country, I don't know if it's all, but in major parts of this country, do not have or are not allowed to own certain property. In fact, there are some properties that a woman cannot own. There are some places women cannot go to. So if you are banking and putting structures around that, you are bound to fail. So we decided that we're going to do it differently to include more women. Okay? Now, going to the next slide, just to give a summary of the challenges that women face, we are going to look at the lack of formal credit. That is the primary thing. Women do have access to informal credit, but they are very expensive. In fact, you hear some things around 10% per month, 8%, and they're very high because they don't have access to the formal credit. Very low numbers. You can see the figures there. It's outstanding. Every time we show this, so I was like, are you sure? I said, yes. Women get access, but they get it informally and very, very expensive. But the formal credit has not been able to understand the peculiarities around the women and how to bank them. And that's what we are here to canvass for and what we are here to drive the change around. So also we are looking at even the societal norms, the cultural norms. There are some places you have, this is from our experience, by the way. We'll see some women, they will want to access funding, but the moment they will first of all tell you, oh, let me talk to my husband. And if they want to accept anything, they want to go and talk to somebody else. And that is what it is, right? But what we are doing is to break some of those things that will require you to depend on somebody else, to make it easier for you to act. Once you qualify, just access it. Okay, that's one of the things that we're doing. And of course, weak institutional support and poor networking there. This is amazing, right? Please, for everybody that came forward and came to this room, let's just give ourselves honest. Women, we don't go out. We don't go out. We don't. Do you know that if you have any program and you see the men, they network, they will go anywhere, anytime, at any place to network. But for us, we will calculate, we will decide, we'll ask, we'll do everything. And that is it. That is it. Right? Most of the money that moves, they move in some of these meetings. So please, by all means, as you are here, make sure you move around and interact. Don't stay only with you, yourself, and I, and then leave the room. Please make sure you network. That's the most powerful thing that you can also do today. Let's go to the next slide, please. So what we are doing is trying to change this narrative one step at a time. And Sterling One Woman proposition and initiative, we are doing that deliberately. In the video you watched, I made a statement and I said that we are working on empowering women with banking that builds for them. And that means that banking, we are not just doing it for them to look at, okay, I have this, I have this challenge, but they are willing and able, so they bank with us because we have the solution. And then we are giving them funding that supports them truly, removing all the barriers that can make them not access these funds. So that's one of the things that we're doing. And we'll hear more of that when my group head talks more during the panel. And then also we help them with the community that grows with them. Because we thrive as women, we thrive in communities. We thrive everywhere, whether it's a church, whether it's a mosque, whether it's family, anywhere there's a community, you see a woman, and we are driving that strongly. So going forward and looking at it, please go to the next one. We want to position us and position women generally to support women banking. And please, everyone in the room, it is across board. both partners, because we have our funding partners here, we have the women network here, we have entrepreneurs here, and we have our bankers here. So please, this narrative is to get every one of us in the room to see how we can push this. And I want to show you that it is possible and it makes good business sense. So our target customers in One Woman is women in career, women in business, and the young women, because we want to capture everyone along the various stages of growth. So looking at our career women, you're banking, you're working, we want to provide you with the empowerment to grow. We want to help you structure, because even at work, women also do not get what they deserve. Even at work, some organizations, they don't allow the women grow. So we are building that mentorship and different programs to drive and change that narrative. Women in business, that is also very key. And we'll be hearing from our own entrepreneur here to hear some of the challenges they face and why when we support women with the right tools and with the right programs, they will succeed and they will do well. And freshers, people that are still at that crossroad, they don't know. Our young graduates, our NYSC corper, they don't know where to even, am I a business person? Do I have the skill? Do I know that? Get ready for work. This is something Sterling has been big on, and we are going to continue to implement and drill down on that, okay? Then going forward, we are going to be looking at our sectors and where we focus on, just for you to get a clear picture of where Sterling Bank wants to play. Does not mean we will not be everywhere, but then we are being deliberate in creating solutions that will target these areas, because they are the growth areas of this country, and they are the places where women are found the most, either as consumers or as producers, or as distributors, or as the case may be. So looking at exports, we have a lot of our women in exports across board on social media. In fact, if you want to export anything right now, we have our women hustling, selling things from dried snails to local things, and they're exporting it at their own ways, at their various, from their own houses, even without having a proper structure. We want to capture all of that and as a bank and support them with what they need to grow. Then Agric, we have already been playing very big here, and we want to scale that even further. We have been doing that for women, for youth, especially women. We have funds, for instance, targeted specifically for women, because we realize that we need to support them. And women are even, I think my colleague Vera is here, she will agree with me, that the women we have in Nigeria, in the agri space, even account for more, especially at the farm holder level, small farm holder level. We have some of them, and a majority of them as women. So we want to support that, and we are building for that. Fashion design, we like looking good. Lifestyle, look at everybody, all colorful. People designed this, people built this, right? And people created this. So we are supporting it. Whether it's owned by women, but as long as fashion is a big thing for women, we are going to support it. Restaurants, healthcare, we are big on that as a bank, and more so even for women as well, because women, all the various things that we face personally, all the various challenges are peculiar to women, we are also building out for that. And then women that own schools and work around education generally, all this are our sector focus and what we are building out for in One Woman. So please, all the women network here, all the partners, feel free to engage and feel free to reach out to us, because yes, I know that together we are going to achieve more. Let's move to the next one. These are some of the key growth metrics we are looking at. And it's important because you're going to be seeing a lot of us and you're going to be hearing a lot from us. So I want you to understand what you'll be looking out for and the various areas you can potentially partner with us on, whether it's from data, helping us to disaggregate data more as a bank. We want to be very big on that. We want to be the ones to share the insights we have on banking on women. Like some of the data I just mentioned earlier, some of those things you won't find it out there. People are not willing to bring out the information that will help the various communities take decisions. We are going to do that. And we are doing that very intentionally. Gender bias propositions. We are going to be working on initiatives, so many that we already have, tailored to women, specific for career women and women in business. So we'll be reaching you on that. And that community we've been talking about, look at that. We are going to be big on one woman community. We want to make sure that everywhere we find either a woman in business or a woman building her career, we give you that community that supports you. So please watch out for that as well. Access to finance, yes. Our target this year is to do 100 billion. Last year we did 43, and we are targeting to lend 100 billion to women. So please give it up. And yes, with the support of our partners that are here, we have an amazing, amazing partners, and we know that we can even stretch that and do a lot more. Also capacity development and entrepreneurship. Most of the people that you find here from EDC, Impacta, Shecluded, please, if I don't mention you, it's just because my head, I have a lot going on. Wetty, yes, Wetty and all. People are doing amazing work. And yes, we are going to be collaborating because it's beyond capital. It's beyond capital. And we want to bring that platform that helps women succeed all round. All right, then impact reporting, which was what I mentioned. We are going to be releasing reports periodically and sharing it so that people will see the impact of banking on women and what it gives to the world and the change it can bring to the society. So yes, that is what you should be watching out for us. We anchor our proposition on 3 things. Capital. We give capital, we give access to finance, the right kind of funding. And yes, we are able to do some of the things that we do because we have development banks with us. So we have, for instance, at a point, we were able to give loans as low as 6% because Bank of Industry gave us funding. We also had Development Bank of Nigeria working with us to help us give funds to women at significantly reduced rates. So capital is the anchor. We know that women, we need money. We need money to build our dreams. But the kind of funding and the kind of rates that we need to survive, and not the one that will give, and you'll be wondering what's happening to the rate. It's like the more I look, the less I see. But we are here to change that. Then we are doing capacity, and we are big on community. So when you hear our 3 C's, it's capital, capacity, and community. That is where we anchor everything that we do. All the initiatives, everything is around these 3 areas. So please, if you're building on this, then we are going to work together, okay? Then let's move to the next. I think I'll be talking about some of the numbers that we have. Okay, for the women that work with us and what we define as women, 30% ownership. So we actually discovered something funny. While we were lending, some men started changing the ownership of their businesses. Yes. Some men started changing the ownership of their businesses to get the women so that they can access the funding. They will go to CAC, they will change the ownership of the business. And I was, oh, wow. So even to that extent, that's for me is a win. A win is a win. And I was very excited about that. So we're even increasing that. So we are demanding very soon the rates that we are going to be giving, disproportionate rates to businesses that are truly owned. So not just 30% now, 50, 75, 100. You get to have better rates than those that have. So maybe they will now transfer the whole business. But it's all good, right? Because when women win, we all succeed. All right. Then share of women in the board, the same, at least 30%. And we also focus on businesses that produce things that women consume. So you can see men in the fashion space. We support them because they are in that space as well. Okay. So let's move to the next slide. So looking at some of the things, I mentioned some things we achieved in 2025. I want to just show you the numbers so that you can look at it and see that women, we are doing well. Okay. And Sterling Bank too supporting women. So we have done 43.9 billion. These are all 2025 numbers for women in business mostly. We trained 6,000 women, and for the borrowing, you can see 2,450 women gave us these results. So when you say, do you have the right sample size? We do. And from these 2,450 people, we have 99.8% success rate. So that is a plus and a massive win for women. And we're excited about that. Yes, it's a good place to clap. because it is no longer news that women are good borrowers. We have proven it. And we are going to drive that narrative to cause that change for people to see. So one of our funders that came around and we presented this, they just, are you serious? Show us, and we showed them the numbers. They looked at it, and it made sense. They've been hearing about it. We've seen it in some countries, but now in Nigeria, we are producing it. Okay, so we have also served 380,000 women across board through various programs that we do all through the year. So please, by all means, if you're not a Sterling Bank customer, if you're not a Sterling Bank partner, you can't even enjoy anything I've been saying, right? You have to be in the room. You have to be with us before you can even partner or work with us, okay? I think now looking into 2030, 5 years from now, what we are looking at achieving is bold, but we are very excited and we want to achieve this. We want to give out 500 billion in loans between now and then. We want to be able to reach 1 million women and serve them. We want to keep that NPL at even 0 or 0.1%. And then we want to achieve 100% increase for businesses that bank with us. And we are going to be very intentional in tracking that. We want to support you. We don't just want you to have the funds, but we want to give you the support that helps you grow. We want to make it easy for you to access funding. And we want to make sure that the community that we provide, that is the community that truly helps you serve and truly helps you grow. Thank you very much. And
all right, a round of applause for Ezinne Okafo, please. Does anyone have any questions for her? We can just take one or two. Okay, let me ask the first question, and this is for the audience. I came here today knowing about one woman. Pardon? Yes, so coming here today as the audience, were you aware of, so now that you've heard the impact and the work that they're doing, right? Did we all know that one woman had done this much? No. Awesome. You didn't even know there was one woman. Fantastic. So, but we have all learned something today about one woman. Let's do a little pop quiz. What were the 3 C's? Capital, capacity, and community. And what was the goal in 5 years for women served? 1 million. Fantastic. Isn't it? You've killed it. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a question? Oh. Apologies.
the largest amount? Yes. The highest was 100 million and the lowest was 1 million. Yes. So it ranged. Let me put that at 20%. Majority of the women took less than 20 million. Okay. Yes, thank you very much. So we are targeting the big babes. Okay, there's another question. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ezinne. My name is Abimbola Onwuchekwa. I am from the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, and I am the coordinator for the women's sector. I have a question as regards the accessibility of these loans. How easily accessible are these loans to the nano members of the society? I'm talking of those women out there who are selling those things that you and I will not ordinarily drive to go and patronize. And it will amaze you that these women contribute hugely to the businesses in Nigeria. Now, when you go to the bank, I've related with these women, and you discover that to access these loans, not as easy as you have mentioned. So I want you to please probably expatiate a bit further on how easily this will be for those women out there and not just, some of us sitting right here in this air-conditioned hall. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think, let me keep it real and very practical. Let me just say businesses, women own businesses, small, big, medium. What we do as a bank first is to see that you have the capacity to pay back. That's the anchor of everything that we do. The first check is to be sure that you can pay back, because it's not a grant. Sometimes we do give grants, but this one is you have to return the funds. Some of them are development banks funds. Some of them are our depositors funds. So the money has to come back. So sometimes also looking at nano businesses, what we do most times is work with them in groups. If they are able to, depending on the stages where they are, some struggle, right, because of the capacity they have. Then we will then look at how can we work with the community itself to enable them to access the funding. And we have some things we've started piloting, and we are very excited about that, because we realize, yes, you mentioned it, the nano businesses control over 70% of businesses in Nigeria, and it makes sense to build for that. And we will, and we are. So working with communities mostly and working with them in groups, that is how we can, and it's not just about even the money, because just like Dr. Neka said, when we work with them in that group, we then give them the capacity building and help them and train them to come out, because we want them to scale. We don't even want them to stay at that level. So we will work with them in that community, help them to grow, and give them the funding also that supports them, but in the right structure. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. A round of applause for Izine, please, and for that wonderful round of interaction and engagement. And thank you for the questions that you have raised so far. And I would like you to keep that in mind. So we're still challenging what we're here. We're joining and lending our voices to the conversation. Okay, so we will come back to the question, but I do want to also make sure that we stay on time. So in the panel conversation, we will also have the opportunity to ask questions. So please hold your question, ma'am, and we'll try and come back to it. But we are moving to the first panel conversation of today's event. And of course, we are talking about financing. So that's the theme for this first panel, which is titled Collectively Strengthening Pathways, Financing Women Entrepreneurs Across Sectors and Growth Stages. And that's part of the conversation that we had already started having. And when we talk about the challenges to financing, the fact that women-led businesses are underserved, despite their potential, this conversation becomes even more important for us to identify the gaps, discuss the gaps with the experts, and hear what they have to say. We have put together a very well-rounded panel to talk about this and to share expert opinions and to certainly hear your feedback. And we have an astute moderator. So allow me to welcome and please encourage her as she comes up with a warm round of applause. Who better to talk about finance than a business analyst? So with a warm round of applause, please welcome Uchechi Okeke to moderate this panel. Let's keep clapping, let's keep clapping. Let's make her feel warm and welcome. Okay, and then she'll be introducing her panelists.
Everyone, the team is meant to showcase our panelists here. So, okay, so our panelists are already showcased. I'm so excited to be here. So we're going to be inviting our first panelist in the person of Ms. Mobolaji Ogundaro. She's a female entrepreneur that banks with Sterling, and she's such a beautiful customer of Sterling. Please a round of applause to welcome her. Yes, please sit down here. Our second panelist is from the Development Bank of Nigeria. Please do well to welcome Teresa Lawal. You're welcome. Just sit down here. Our third panelist is from the Bank of Industry. Please join me to welcome Dr. Adebola. Please, a round of applause for our panel. Our fourth panelist is Dr. Emezino Daniel. Okay, welcome, sir. And the last but not the least of our panelists is a sterling representative, sorry. We call her, sorry, Teresa. Thelma, look, I'm so sorry. Why am I even tense? We are all women. This is a women event. I actually don't know why I'm tense. So if you're proud to be a woman, please just do a round of applause for yourself. So let's go straight to our topic. As a girlies girl, I'm so excited about this topic because I really want to see women at the top. I really want to see women taking places. I really want to see women businesses doing so well. So when I heard this topic, I was so excited because I also want to be an entrepreneur in the future. I also want to have access to big funding to ensure that my business do well. So while we go straight to our topic, I just want to give a little introduction. So when we talk about financing women, we're not talking about charity. We are talking about one of the smartest, most profitable, and most transformative investments any economy would do. Because we know when women are financed, family thrives, businesses grow, and everything around us do well. Because when we say women build homes, women can build anything. If a woman can build a home and make a home very successful, so there is nothing you place in the hand of a woman that a woman will not surely do well in it. As the Gen Z, we said, evidence choke. Isn't it mentioned there that women outperform men when it comes to loan repayment? Even after doing all this, women still don't have access to a lot of loan. We still have the problem about financial gap. So we have our panelists here to do justice for us. So we are going to begin with our female entrepreneur. Because we have limited time. So we are going to ask just a brief question. So we are going to speak to Ms. Mobolaji Ogundaro. So Ma, please, we'd like you to briefly share your journey. What challenges did you face before accessing funds, and what changed after you received those funds?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you to Sterling Bank and to One Woman for this opportunity. I'm pleased to be in the midst of amazing women and men today. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause for our guest.
Thank you. My name is Mobolaji Ogundaro, and I run a business known as Sophisticated Warbia. Sophisticated Warbia is a bakery and now owns a baby called SW Cafe. And I've been in business for circa 6 years. It started as a hobby, and it evolved into a multi-million naira business. From my early days, thank you very much. During my early days, I didn't have the dream of doing more than I was doing. You know, I just thought I'm trudging along and then something else would come my way. But then I realized that I was filling a gap, you know, around the community that I lived in and around friends and family. So I started being a bit more serious about it. There was a time I thought, oh, this name Sophisticated Warbia that I've given the business, it came because somebody used it to insult me. And I thought, maybe I should change it so I sound a lot more professional and appealing to people. And then Sterling Bank gave me the platform to exhibit at a fair, then called the Eat, Drink Lagos Fair. And first of all, it was such a seamless process for payments and all of that. So I didn't have the fear of, oh, how am I going to sell? Will I remember the price of products? They made it so straightforward and easy. But one of the things that affirmed the name of the business was people came to the stand simply because of the name. Yoruba people will come and laugh out loud. Some older people will come and say, this one is your grandmother or your mother that used it to insult you. So first of all, thank you to Sterling Bank and One Woman Now, because you affirmed the name of my business for me through that exposure.
A round of applause for Sterling.
So your question again is that how has the journey been?
Yes, and what challenges did you face before accessing funding?
Okay, so first of all, most women, I don't know if, well, let me speak for myself first of all. I didn't think I wanted to ever take a loan. Me, I will struggle my struggle and just do it one step at a time. So some banks offered, when they see your inflows, they offer you loans. Some banks had offered me loans in the past and they were absolutely rubbish. In my head, I'm like, if I sell 5 of this, 15 of this, 30 of that, I'll make this money now. Why am I going to start having sleepless nights on thinking of how to repay a loan and then still pay an interest on it? So I closed my eyes completely to loans. But I got approached by Sterling Bank when they saw the business and told me, oh, we have this BOI loan for women available. This is the rate, this. I first of all, hesitated a bit, and then a need arose. So it was very timely. I had a problem with storage at the cafe. So I realized that I had to buy an industrial freezer and relocate it somewhere else. And it was going to cost me a decent amount of money. I thought, okay, these people are offering me a loan and the rate is not bad. So I started talking to them. Within the week of speaking to Sterling, I got the loan. I paid for the freezer. It was delivered to the location and it's been easy peasy. So my first experience with funding has happened strictly with Sterling Bank and it was easy for me. I didn't look elsewhere before then. So that's my own story about funding.
Thank you. So I still have a second question for you, right? So what would you say to financial institutions about what women entrepreneurs really need?
So women by nature are nurturers. We build things and we build them step by step. We believe in the little drops that make us great. A lot of lenders are looking for that boom. We're not as dogged and as resilient as the men are, in quotes, and I'll rephrase this, but we are consistent, we are sure, and we are certain. We have our eye on the ball and we know the end product we want to achieve. We will not divert money. That is for, I will say this, and I can say this for women. Please let me give you a little bit of a background about myself. I come from a family of 10 women, same mother, same father. So I have seen women perform and outperform. I'm the 5th of 10, so I have much older siblings. I have much younger siblings, very high achievers, I would say proudly. My mother is very proud. Every day she looks and she says, all of you from this belly, But so I can tell you how women, I have a decent catchment area. I also went to an all-girls secondary school. So I have a decent perception of how women truly are. Even amongst my staff, I can tell you that when women are ready to do things, they put their head down and they get it done. So the banking system doesn't necessarily understand that about women. They're looking for the big hits. So, oh, what are your numbers so that I can give you this? But no, give me this and I will show you what I can make of it. That's how women operate. And that's where that gap exists.
Thank you very much for that. So do you mean, let me say for instance, if the bank has not come to you, will you ever go to the bank?
No. I will go to my sister first.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to ask questions to the institutions that are here. So I'm going to begin with the representative of Development Bank of Nigeria. So I have a question for you, right? So what I want to ask, I'm asking you this question based on your institution perspective, right? From your institution perspective, what progress have we made in financing women entrepreneurs, and where are the biggest gaps still?
Okay, thank you for that. In terms of, so let me just give a bit of context about who we are. So Development Bank of, we're a wholesale development finance institution. We're basically set up to support MSMEs in Nigeria. That was really the goal. So we're CBN licensed, regulated, focusing on MSMEs. However, we don't deal with the MSMEs directly. So our wholesale nature means that we work with what we call financial intermediaries, so basically banks. We have like commercial banks, so Sterling is one of our very good partners. We have some microfinance banks, mortgage banks, merchant banks, finance companies, and the likes. Most recently, we're having also other alternative partnerships, but I won't really dwell a lot on that. In doing this, we have key focus areas. So yes, we want to support MSM for the obvious reasons. They're the engines of growth for the economy. If you support the MSMEs, you're helping to build the nation. But even in doing that, we realize that there are certain sectors or segments that are typically underserved or have a stronger impact on the economy. So in terms of the segment, so we see that women are underserved. We've seen all the background information, the business case for even supporting women. If we're able to do a bit more, women can do more. So we've prioritized women from day one in our lending, and so we provide this funding to support the banks. If you're going to lend to an MSME, we would prioritize a woman. And this is the conversation we have even with our partners. So whenever we have those banks that are also doing things, that have similar mandates like Sterling, we're happy to work with them because the funding is there, you know. Again, it's a collective thing. It's really just more like a collaboration. So funding is provided, but you're actually supposed to blend with yours. So what are the things that we have seen? Since when we started, we've seen a lot more banks actually come to the table to really be very strategic and very intentional about lending to women. So, understanding that is a specific market, right? You can't just do business as usual to women. Some years down the line, probably were a handful of institutions, a handful of banks that were doing that. So the good thing is we're seeing more banks now be intentional about the products that they're developing, and they're specifically for women, right? And so you're hearing banks like, here Sterling talking about what they've done, how they've impacted women. So we want to see more of that. The funding is there, and having more people with similar mandates is interesting. So it's a great thing, and we obviously still want to do more. So that's one key success. But what do we see can still be done? And I think this is what NECA has spoken to. We see that a lot of women get funding, but they're pretty much moderated in terms of the amount of funding that they require. I don't necessarily think that it's the banks that are to blame. I think that sometimes also the women are conservative in their requests. So, like she said, she won't have even gone to a bank in the first place. Not because she didn't have the capacity, but she's like, I'll ask my sister. The next person can be like, I need 20, but if you give me 5 million, I will hustle. You know, that kind of thing. But a man will sit down with his full chest. Even if he needs 20 million, collect 50 million, marry wife on top of it. No, but I'm just saying, I mean, that's the figures, but I'm just saying that the men are more bullish about what they require. That's why it seems like they get all the funding and they just move up. The woman is more conservative. So even if she needs this amount, she's like, just give me anything. Just, if you give me 5, I will hustle. You know what, like, but it shouldn't necessarily be that way.
So do you mean women don't really know what they want?
It's not that they don't know, they know. But they're willing to work with, just
Whatever they...
the minimum. And yeah, so that's one of the things. And then there are also some other things too, which we talk about. So again, it's banking, they're depositors' funds, and we understand that as well. So you have to look at also certain key things. Collaterals may not necessarily be available. There might not be the proper structures and things like that. So these are now the things where you see banks coming to the table, and then DFI. So I think we'll speak to it maybe some other time at another round. But more or less coming to the table to see how you can work on those other things. So okay, the collateral is not there. What can be put on the table? So consider alternative collateral structures.
Thank you.
Consider things like that. So I think this is why I'll just stop, just to say that there's a lot more to be done in terms of supporting women more. And I think these are the things that we'll take.
Oh, thank you so much. So same question, I'll be asking Dr. Adebola. Please, would like to get from your institution perspective.
Okay, good morning once again, everyone. And I'd like to say thank you to Sterling Bank for bringing me here. And I'd like us to clap for the practitioner here because, we can sit in the bank, but she had given us the practical of who an entrepreneur is. Please, can we give her a round of applause? Women, we have great strength. We are very resilient. We know what we want, really. And that is one thing we have understand in Bank of Industry. And also, we have seen that you cannot serve a market that you don't know. And you can't give what you yourself you don't have. So first thing is we looked inward. Who are we as a bank? What do we know about lending to women? How do we ensure that everyone across the bank, from the gate man, security, cleaner, everyone understand what is it that when we talk about gender lens investing, and we embark on training to get our staff ready. Because when a woman, like she said, a woman does not just want you to tell her what you are doing. They want you to listen and hear what they want and how they want it. So we embark on a whole lot of, let me say, re-engineering of our processes, going to the extent of training everyone across the bank, putting in place structures that will make it comfortable for a woman to work in and to be accessed to. And also because we know that after we have done our own, we need these women also to be able to be ready. We also went ahead to train our business service providers. We have team of practitioners that can handhold these women, that can prepare them ready for the bank, even when they think they are not ready. So we train them also on what is it that lending to women entails. What is the language? How do you communicate to a woman? And after that, we went out to talk to the women themselves, women in business, organized private sectors, people that are customers and non-customers, to ask questions. What is the challenge about their business? How do they want to be served? I know a whole lot of this exercise gave us a roadmap, and that helped us to be able to develop a document that helped us to form a product that it's not that we just sat and we said this is the product. We put together the combination of information that we have from every of the people that we have, up to what kind of collateral do you think you can provide? How do we make it easy? And that helped us to form a tailored product for women, which I will speak about after. But talking about what is it that make women not be able to access credit? What is the challenge? Like my colleague here said, women are not open to getting information. We use most of our time surfing through our internet, looking for every other thing. But information that are key to development of our businesses are lying there, but we are not seeing them. I've been in various events this month of March, and I see a whole lot of opportunity. I see a whole lot of organizations doing a lot of things. But when you ask, women will say, I don't know about it. I don't know about it. First thing I will say is that for every human being, God has given us everything that pertains to life and godliness. Everything is in your hands. When you open your hands at the time of birth, you have skills, you have things. You are just building on it by things that you acquire during your the processes you go through in life. And if you seek the right information, you will get it. And we also understand that it is not possible for us to run the journey alone. So what we look at is, because women are at different stages and there are different value chain, there are some that we can play in, there are some that we cannot play in. And that brings a whole lot of partnership and collaborations so that we can be able to get to the woman on the street, the one in the kiosk, the one that has opened a small shop, the one that is going into big places, and the one that is a multinational already, because all of them are important. If you look at the number of women in businesses, if we exclude them, we are excluding a whole lot of billions or trillions from our GDP, and we won't be doing ourselves any good. So that was why we are intentional. And also one thing that we did was, as at the beginning of 2025, the management of BOI look at it that if women are this important, then they need to be identified as a thematic area. Lending to women become a thematic area. It become a voice. If you enter a building, you will see everywhere is pasted there, what are the thematic area that BOI want to play in, so that everyone, whether loan officer, whether you are credit, whether you are in the back office, you have the understanding of what is the roadmap. And this has helped us to be able to get to a whole lot of women that are underserved and that are not bankable from before now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we'll ask same question to the representative of EFINA, Dr. Ezimono Daniel.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'd like to celebrate Sterling Bank. Thank you so much for organizing this International Women's Day commemoration event. And this is a very excellent. One thing that makes me very comfortable in Sterling Bank is the fact that the focus, the strategy is based on evidence. It's based on data. It's not assumption, it's not hearsay, it's not bandwagon effect. And when you want to share with the ecosystem the business case for serving women, here is an institution that has looked into their portfolio, gathered data, looked at the trends, and is able to tell the story of what really has happened and is occurring. Now, with regard to what we do at EFINA, EFINA stands for Enhancing Financial Inclusion and Advancement, is we work with the National Bureau of Statistics to conduct a nationwide survey. We do this on a biennial basis, once every 2 years, and that enables us to present to the financial services ecosystem actual numbers. How many men and women are saving? How many men and women are accessing credit? How many persons who are adults are utilizing insurance, remittances, pensions, payments, and so on, so that the entire ecosystem and the country can plan well and can recognize the opportunity. Now, when we look at credit, what has the story been? If we look at from the year 2010 through to the last year we conducted this survey, we've noticed a trend which is not encouraging. Now, formal financial service institutions like Sterling Bank and others within the ecosystem, the proportion of adults, now this is men and women, who have access to loans from the formal space has just been dancing between 2% and 3%. From 2010 to 2020, during the peak of COVID, we now saw a jump. Okay, so in 2020, it got to 3%. Prior to that, in 2014 and 2016, it was at 3%, then fell back to 2% before going back to 3% in 2020. But as of 2023, it got to 5.8%. Wow, improvement. But really? Now, when you look at all borrowing that adult Nigerians have been involved in, you see that yes, there was a growth from about 31% in 2020 to like 37% in 2023. What do these numbers mean? Yes, there has been a record of improvement, but the question is, where are they borrowing from? What we've noticed is there has been a proliferation of digital lenders over time. And this is where what we've heard today within this conference of people hearing about 8% per month, 4% per month, 5% per month, and then some very unfair collection practices being in place, which has diminished the trust that women entrepreneurs have in formal financial services because of those harsh collection practices. So we have seen that, yes, collectively, if you want to look at numbers alone, percentages, there has been improvement, but there are still some significant gaps. The one I just mentioned about unfair collection practices, that speaks to what we call unintended harms. So you are providing the credit, but what is the context of the woman who is receiving the credit? Is her welfare getting better? Or is she being exposed to dangers, gender-based violence, the authority structures within our societies? Are they being confronted as if authority is being usurped in different regions of the country? So those contexts have to be borne in mind. Now, how can we look at the challenges that women are facing? One thing which I've used in gatherings like this is to use an acronym, which is CANT, saying that the woman can't. She can't access formal financial services. So the C represents cost. Cost has been prohibitive, and we've talked about that a bit. And cost has to be looked at not only from the perspective of the women, but also the supply side, the financial institutions, being able to get funds at a good number and then lend at a reasonable number. building in their margin, because there has to be margin for the supply side. The A stands for accessibility and awareness. Awareness is very key. So I love what I've heard from the DBN and also from Bank of Industry, focusing on capacity building. Because if she doesn't understand the loan, she's not going to be interested. And even if she takes the loan but did not understand it and assumes it's a grant, she's not going to repay, right? So awareness is very key. Accessibility is also critical. What are the channels? I've also heard about social media channels being very common amongst us, but how can we leverage the common channels to pass on the information and in a way that will be understood? The N is norms and the T is trust. I know we're working with time, but the norms is really critical because in different parts of the country, there are norms that are restrictive. The norms are so ingrained that even women in some communities restrict themselves and are comfortable in certain areas, right? So if one is able to, if one is able to recognize those unique norms and build solutions around them, and there have been a number of experiences we've had in the field that confirm that these things are ingrained, that even if you get the men to be supportive, the women will say, well, I'm in my comfort zone. Then the trust issues, brick and mortar, fancy buildings, our branches, there is a lack of trust when you look at that compared to informal groups. We can talk more about that.
Thank you so much. So move to our last speaker. Same question, but based on your institution perspective.
Good morning, everyone. And once again, on behalf of Sterling Bank, we thank you all for coming. I'll start by saying the women look very beautiful. So a happy International Women's Month to the beautiful women in the room. The men are jealous.
Yes.
And then for our men, the he for she, I'll just say good morning. So for Sterling Bank, we understand the value of lending to women. I know that lately the gender lens financing is almost like a buzzword. There's a lot of conversation, a lot has been said. But at Sterling, it's not just cliche for us. It's part of what we do, and we affirm this through our one-woman community because we understand the power of collaboration. We also understand the power of community. And from what my colleagues here have said, there's something that is sticking out. Education. It is not that this funding is not available. How many women actually know about it? How many even know how to access it? Even from the show of hands in the room, some people did not even know that Sterling has been in this business, supporting women. So whilst other women are scaling, some are unaware of the value we bring. And so at Sterling, last year, we intensified commitment, and we're able, like Izines said in her presentation, we're able to disburse over 40 billion to women-led businesses. Our commitment is that this year we even want to do above 100 billion. That's a commitment. And we say that you can hold us to it, that when next we have our annual International Women's Day event, you will see that the numbers will speak. And how are we doing it? We're not just saying, it's not just something we say we want to do. We have active collaboration with our funding partners, because we know that there's one thing to give you access to finance, but if it's not affordable, then it doesn't make much sense for your business. So for women, we are giving heavily discounted interest rates, some even in single digits, made possible by our funding partners, the DBNs, the DFIs, the BOIs, and all our collaborative partners. Another thing we observed is that collateral is also a problem. So we are happy to announce to you that we have very low to zero collateral, including downgraded guarantor requirements for women. You can now access certain financing without a single collateral. I'm also going to reinforce our commitment to give graduated interest rates. So we want to encourage more women to actually own their businesses, to show up in their businesses, to take total control, because we are very responsible borrowers, right? Numbers don't lie. So we want to be sure that if we are giving you money, subsidized rate, it is truly that you own the business. I mean, there's no harm if you have joint business with your husband, but we're encouraging that your partner also recognizes that there's something in it for every woman. Then the education part is the awareness, and that's why we will go all out to tell women what we have for them. But we also know that some people do want this financing rather, but they are not credit ready. So it is okay to say we have the funds, but how do we support these communities to be credit ready? And that's when we have our capacity building, where we partner, we educate women, we bring the experts in the field to tell them how to, make their books look good. There's a lot of financial records mismatch. So instead of just relying on, financials, we look at their digital financial footprint, we look at transaction history, we look at a lot of other things, cash flow, to analyze the viability and effectiveness of a woman business. And I'd like to end by saying that we believe as women that leading women, thriving women do not compete. Do we compete?
No.
We collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thelma. So from what was said here, I feel like women don't really follow social media accounts that will make us aware when things are happening. Because when they say we are not aware, if you follow us on Sterling One Woman, you will see when we're having our loan 6%. Once you are following us, please, if you are not following us, you can do that now. Go to your Instagram, follow Sterling One Woman, so that when such things are posted, you will know, you will see it, you will follow it, and you will tap from it. So we are going to be asking questions to the entrepreneurs in the room. If you are an entrepreneur in the room, can you just wave your hands? Can you wave your hands? Okay, thank you. So we have a question, right? For the entrepreneurs in the room, we want to ask you, what has been your biggest barrier to accessing funding? So if you have the question, please, you can just ask our panelists. Can you raise up your hand if you want to ask? Yes. So if you can respond to this and ask those here so they can assist you with it, please.
Good morning. My name is Manisha Ibarra. I'm the CEO of IO Furniture and a long-standing customer of Sterling Bank. And curiously, I've been banking with Sterling Bank for over 15 years, and I've never heard of one woman until this morning. So I find that rather curious. I think the strongest challenge is the interest rate. So it's one thing to know that you can access funds, you've learned to keep your books in order. But the interest rate, the current commercial interest rate of 36%, we can't borrow, given the nature of our business, we can't borrow at that rate. So that's the primary challenge. The second one is, I'm really pleased to hear that the bank is getting involved with some capacity building. So I believe our strongest gap and fear with most of us women, I'm speaking for myself and from my experience, is financial literacy. So I don't know whether part of the program is going to include financial literacy, that understanding of enterprise, how it works, how to keep your books, how to improve your credit rating, so you can actually carry your business to the bank and you're guaranteed that loan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if you have a question, please, please go on with your question so panelists can respond to you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you. My name is Rollins McFoy. I'm the CEO of Ocean Deep Services Limited, a shipping and oil and gas firm. Walked in a few minutes ago while she was talking, and when Sterling Bank started talking, BOI, yes, I know quite a few things about them, but when Sterling Bank started talking, I'm like, where am I? Is it a dream world? Like the last speaker said, I have been banking with Sterling Bank from the inception of this company from like 15 years ago or 16 years ago. And I know that my friends that bank with Access Bank and FCMB, they have female desks. I've even had to sign guarantee, as a guarantor for some of them who collect loans as low as 9%, single digit. They collect female banking, female loan, which is approved by central bank and or whoever you are in partnership with. This has been going on for the past 13 years. I've been fighting with Sterling Bank. I'm just telling you the truth. I've been fighting with them. Every manager that came to Wharf Road, I fought with each of them. Now, Wharf Road have been moved to Mobile Road. I have been fighting with them, and they will tell you there is no such thing. I have written petitions which didn't get a report or which didn't get a reply. As a matter of fact, I threatened to remove the accounts because we have about 3 different company accounts there. But sometimes my staff are like, Madam, you are the one giving these people this thing. You said you know that. But sometimes, as somebody at the head, you just don't want to do, you just hold on and all that. So I'm just surprised. I have written official letters. I have spoken to all the bank managers, all the operations managers, and they will keep, during the time of Abimbola left for UK about 7 years or 8 years ago. Go cross-check your accounts, cross-check your reports. And because I'm aware of this, and I'm wondering myself, why am I here? But somehow I just don't know why I didn't move. So for you to come now and say that you have a women community, this, that, and I'm like, is it that your staff do not know, or the account officers do not know, or is it for special people, or is it for people that, for Christ's sake, for crying out loud, women are suffering. And they have done so much to push their businesses. The men discuss this thing over a cup of coffee. Over a cup of coffee, they give non-collateral loan. Look, let me tell you, I work with big oil and gas company. I was once the head of HR for MRS Oil and Gas. When MRS acquired the Texaco, it was Project Titanic. And a few people, we were the ones. We knew how these businesses were done. We knew how they go over a cup, even without collateral. But when it comes to women banking, the bank step it down or what? Or is the women that are there, they step it down or what? Or they are not feeling for their fellow women outside. I worked with big companies, and I can assure you some of them borrow every month to pay salaries. Yes. All these big companies that you're seeing, they borrow every month to pay salaries. And they grow like that. Before you know, you start hearing the big names and all that, and they become big wigs and all that. But stepping out of all those places, opening something, and then I get to things I got done without blinking an eye for companies. It was now my turn. We're not even talking about collateral. We have not started talking about collateral. We're just talking about, you even telling me, oh, okay, there is women banking, 9%. But this, that, oh, Adam, I'm sorry you are not qualified. I'm fine. I think any woman at this level is educated and could understand those things. But telling me it's not available, I will ask my GM, I will ask my area head, I will ask the head office, I will ask my MD, I will ask, just like that. What kind of thing is that?
The Sterling rep is going to respond to your question.
Today. Okay. So, and now we are coming here to come and hear that I've been suffering for 15 years. When this thing is on the ground, what is the compensation you are going to give somebody like me? Because I know how much we put in that bank. I know what runs there. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Edward Ogumeka again. And thank you for the honesty. And we really appreciate that. Thank you. Now, we haven't been doing this for 15 years. The truth is that we reinvented one woman a year ago. We've always had one woman, but what the focus was at the time was grassroots. And when we started, yes, we did focus on grassroots. But then banks have women banking desks. And the conversation was, if we're actually going to create an impact, I'm still a financial institution that needs to make profit, but then I also want to make impact as well. Now, the idea is that we need to focus on areas where we can make money so that money, so about 3% of whatever revenues we're making from some parts of our business goes into the grassroots where we're not making any money. And that's we'll continue to do. So we refocused. And the idea was, where can we get cheap funding? We sent out questionnaires. We even employed psychiatrists to come in and help us figure out this space. And what Madam said earlier was spot on. Women just take loans because you've offered it to them. They take loans when they need it. And we started building this structure that you see as One Woman today. And the evidence that we're doing something right is the fact that you're in the room this morning. Now, we went to our partners and we raised funds. It's not good enough to say, because you're a woman, I'm going to give you 1%. That's charity. I need to turn it into a business. So we went to BOI. They gave us money. And that's the reason why we're able to do 6%. Now, the truth is, it won't go round. So we pick the businesses within the community that already existed to figure out how to make them grow. And that's the reason why we're able to do 98.2%, because we did capacity building within communities. We went to Development Bank. They also gave us funding as well. And we were able to push out those funds. And that's how we were able to do 40 billion last year. Now, the agreement is that we're going to do 100 billion. And we need to expand the community we have. So having done that incubation last year, we are now opening it up further this year to see how we can expand that. Now, I see a lot of our MSMEs in the room, but beyond that, I see what we call quasi-commercial customers in the room, right? Madam, you are a quasi-commercial customer. You're no longer an SME business, the way we see it as a. And Madam too, at the back as well, you are no longer an SME business. But the truth is, One Woman is now stepping into the space of also providing what we're providing for SMEs, for the ones that have exploded. Because how do I make the people that supply your business, the small businesses, are also fund? And that is the reason why we call it a community, because we build this community that supports each other. So once again, it is our commitment to say that before the end of 2026, we will grow that lending to 100 billion, working with our partners. Also, we've used our own funds as well. But then in our Greek space, we've done this for years. We were able to give about 11% to women and youth within the Greek space. And we're now extending that to the people in business. I assure you, you would see us, you will feel us, and you'll know us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much.
So, all right. Okay. Thank you. So, this was going to be a very emotive conversation, right? This is the crux of today's conversation. So because of time, we're going to take two more questions. I already have one over there and here. But you will come back to you, please, ma'am.
Sorry, before you, I just wanted to also respond to, she made a point, so I wanted to give her our commitment. They want to see more of capacity building for this community. We do not need to be in a room physically to do this. So we will be having quarterly virtual capacity building sessions for the women that we bank and even for the prospects. So if you are not following the One Woman community on Instagram, please, I encourage you to do that, because we'll be pushing out a lot of information that you love. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if we can have the question and please keep it succinct.
Hi, my name is Olabisi Waller. I run a company called Elise Charles, and we do branded merchandise. So I think I really like the last. I thought I was going to speak before she stood up and spoke, because she literally said everything I wanted to say. And the truth, if we're all going to be real here and we're talking one-on-one, the truth is Nigerian banks are not set up to support small businesses. That's the truth. My experience has always been that they're mainly focused on profit margins. But you guys have said a lot of things here, and you've kind of like given your commitments, and we'll wait and see. That's the only thing. It's not at this point now, just like what she said, no one's really interested in a lot of talk. We just want to see action. That's it. We want to see, put your money how they say, put your money where your mouth is. And I think for me personally, I want to feel like, okay, I'll give you a typical example. And I'm sure everybody can identify with this as well. If you've tried to get like some kind of funding from a financial institution, first of all, collateral is crazy. Like, I don't get it. Like, I literally have to go and dig my great-grandmother's grave to get what you're asking me for. Or they say, okay, if you don't have that, bring financial. I'm sitting out here thinking, I should give you X amount of millions to collect and then to give it back to you with profits on top of it. I don't get it. So I think if this is set up for women, really, if you really want to make an impact with what you're doing and you're really listening to the feedback that we're giving you, then really be focused on what's going on in your business. How can we help you grow? Because that's all we want to do. We want to be able to employ more people. We want to grow. We want to be able to be a blessing to other people, even the grassroots you're helping. We want to be able to walk by the streets and ask women that are looking to feed their families for the day, how are you doing today? What can I do to support you? So it really goes 180. Like, we support, like you support us, and we support each other, and it just comes full circle. So that's all we really want to do. So I appreciate you guys putting this together, and I really, really hope, I'm going to be watching. I really, really hope you guys really mean what you're saying, because it's a huge problem and it needs to be solved.
Okay. All right. So we are fast running out of time. Okay. So we'll take this one last question.
Thank you very much. So it's not a question, actually. I'm not even sure the right word to use. It's an appeal. It's an appeal to all of us here that are entrepreneurs, that have sisters that are entrepreneurs, that have aunties and cousins and friends that have been battered from trying to access funds. It's an appeal because as an ESO, I can feel your frustration. And as a partner with the financial institution, I understand their journey. So it's an appeal to please take it that from today, as you have come for 2026 International Women's Day, that Sterling Bank has set up with their top management here, they are telling us that whatever they were doing before, they are ramping up. I can sense our frustrations, but they are ramping up, and they are excited to ensure that the women entrepreneurs actually get the right type of credit that will meet them where they are. So it's just an appeal that, and I'm not speaking on their behalf, they're not paying me salary. I'm on the next panel, but I'm sensing that frustration, and I feel you. But I want to also say that as an ESO, working with women entrepreneurs, I have my own 4 billion to give. It's been a challenge to give it out. Yeah, it's been a challenge since last year. Today is the last day. So we're going to return it back. We have not even given up. Yes. So all these things that we're saying, please, let's be mindful that a lot of us have not done housekeeping and we have not cleaned shop. So, but please, let's just give them time and allow them. They are promising us that they're going to serve us better. Let's be expectant. Top line. Huh?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I want to believe that I thank Sterling Bank for what they are doing. My name is Olufumilayo Agbato of Animal Care Services Consult Nigeria Limited. I want to believe that majority of us here are from Lagos and environ. I want to let Sterling Bank know that you need to be more visible. There are so many great entrepreneurs in the local areas. that don't even know what you are talking about. They are struggling. Some of them may be illiterate or semi-illiterates, but they are well organized as cooperatives, as individuals. How do you reach out to such people? How do you make it possible for such people to have access to the kind of loan you are talking about? That is my question number 1. 2, in a company that has had relationship with Sterling Bank for over 30 years or thereabout. Now, if I'm interested in a loan like this, which I am interested, do I have to separate myself from that company to be able to have access to a loan like this? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thelma.
Okay, let me start from the second one. Please, I'd like to ask, the second question you were asking about the company that you've had the relationship for 30 years. You're accessing finance, is it in the capacity of your person or as a community or for that company? I'd like clarity on that, madam.
The mic.
As a person?
As a person,
yes.
Okay, so you're not a salaried individual?
Pardon?
You're not a salaried individual?
No, I'm not a salaried individual.
Informal business person. Okay, so we assess you based on you, not the company.
Okay.
And we currently have funding even for informal sector.
Okay.
It may appear that a lot of the conversations we've been saying is about female-led businesses. We also know that there's a kind of disconnect where we have professional women in career. It appears we are not saying a lot about them, but this is also an area we are focused on in Sterling. So though the conversation today is about female-led businesses, but take it for granted that we currently have offerings for the female career person, and we have discounted individual rates. So we will assess you based on your individual capacity and lend to you.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that response. I think we can bring the panel to a close.
Okay, so the final question, I will not be asking everybody, just a few persons so that we can wrap up. In one sentence, what is the one change needed to unlock more capital for women entrepreneurs in Nigeria? So I'll be asking the representative of BOI.
Okay, thank you very much. To unlock capital for women, we need a whole lot of collaborations. You know, there are different funding available, there are different patient capital available, and there are various support also in terms of de-risking that are available. So we need to harness all together to be able to get the required kind of capital that will be able to serve women-owned and women-led businesses. And let me say that lending to women is a journey. And please, I think I can describe it like an onion. When you are lending to women business, it's like you are opening from one cover to another cover, and you are beginning to see how robust it is. So it's a journey, and I want us to please be patient with Sterling Bank on the journey. Because like for us also, we discovered this kind of disconnect sometimes ago. And what we did was to go around the table and engage, and which it is that why you are here today. And I'd like us to know also that women, like ESO there said, funding that are available that are eluding us are so much. If we are not ready, if we are not, we don't build our capacity. You know, this our social media had been so much, had so much information on business management. So if individuals that are running business could go online, there are various free products that you can leverage on to be able to develop your business so that you are ready to take the capital. And even data-driven women lending is what we engage on in Bank of Industry. We partner with a whole lot of organizations to be able to get data. What is it that is happening in this sector of this business? What is it that we can do to be able to come in And also, like I said, collaboration, like MTN just launched a product which is for women also. And what we did was a counterpart funding, 1 billion from BOI, 1 billion from MTN. Various organizations want to give back, and they're looking for ways by which they can do this. So a whole lot of coming together, because I tell you, nobody can help women like us. We are the one that understand our languages. And when we speak the language to ourselves like this, when we are open, it is an opportunity for us to reinvent and to be able to do it well. So I like to say that it's a journey, but the future only awaits that person that is ready.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for all our panelists. They've done justice to our questions. So I'll just ask the final question to our entrepreneur. So what do you think women have to do? Because from what we heard from Dr. Yes, she said most women have not done the job. What do you think they should do so that they can be right and access this loan? What should they do?
Thank you, everyone. I want to say thank you, first of all, to One Woman, because you've transformed what we thought was a process into a partnership. What you're trying to do is to teach us how to partner with all of the different businesses here to get this funding. But it's almost like giving us an invitation letter without telling us the dress code. You have to put in the work, One Woman. You have to teach us, entrepreneurs, what we need to put in place, how to tidy up our end. It needs to be taught. Some of us just stumbled into being entrepreneurs, so we don't know the financial knowledge aspect of it. So for this first few years of you holding hands, you need to actually put in the work and teach us. My mother will say, I have 10 children, not one of them is the same. So you have to pay attention to everybody's unique personality and teach us. Throw it in our faces, shove it down our throats, send us the links to the Zoom meetings, call us, invite us, insist we come for this, so that we can access this. We will learn that way. But until that is done, we'll keep just going back and forth and thinking we've moved forward and we then go back. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for all the panelists. Thank you so much for coming. Ezinne, come on now.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all of our panelists, please. We're really passionate about the topic of financing, and we're not surprised because that's the reason why we're here. And we really want to hear about your experiences, your thoughts, your challenges. And I believe that everyone has taken something away from that panel. Do we need to shake it off? Are we feeling like we got something from the panel? Nobody's engaging. Are we here? Are we still excited to be here? Female entrepreneurs, are we feeling heard? Kind of. Okay. So can I get the I'm feeling heard? Hands up if you're feeling like you're feeling heard. Nobody's feeling heard. This is a tough room. I'm not feeling heard. Nobody's put it up their hands. Okay, so we are going to move on very quickly to our next agenda item. I know that a lot of people still want to engage and they have questions, and that's also perfectly fine. You will have opportunities to talk to our panelists in the room whilst they're still here, or even other Sterling members of staff. but we do need to keep to time. So for our second panel conversation, titled Beyond Capital Towards Capability, Building Sustainable Ecosystems for Women Entrepreneurs. So let's come to the community side of things, right? So our panelist for this is Toluwanimi Adeko. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes up. Let's make her feel welcome, and she'll be introducing her panelists.
Please confirm that you can hear me. All right, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Please smile, encourage me. I'm nervous, so please encourage me. Thank you for being here. And we've had strong conversations around financing. We've had some very strong opinions in this room. But we also want to go to the second aspect, because beyond funding, there are other things. It's not just about having the money. How do you use the money? How do you build your network? So I will be anchoring that session. Before I move forward, let me introduce my panelists. We have some very strong people too for that. I'll be calling Olakpeju Ibekwe, who is the CEO of Sterling One Foundation. Please welcome her. Also on this panel is Sholakwe Akinpelu, who is the CEO and co-founder of Harvest. Please encourage her. Please, let's keep the hands going, please. I also have on this panel Olajumoke Daramola. She is a specialist of advisory services in the Women's World Banking. And we also have Dr. Nneka Okekiaru, who is the Director, Enterprise Development Center. And last but not the least, we have Ifeoma Udo, who is the founder and CEO of Shicluded. Okay. All right. Thank you. Good morning once again, my panelists, and thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here. So first, I'll jump quickly into the questions so that we can move fast. Let me start with, just a second, please. Let me start with Olajumoke. From your experience, working across markets, what would you say are the top non-financial barriers limiting women entrepreneurs today? And please, before we go into it, let me just, I would like to also keep it fast, moving fast. So please, let's be conscious. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Olajumoke Daramola. I work for Women's World Banking, and we're a not-for-profit organization dedicated to providing or ensuring that women have access to formal financial services. And we do that through providing or designing products and programs with financial institutions and policymakers to ensure that we bridge the systemic gap that affects women. That being said, when we speak about non-financial barriers that affect women, they've mentioned almost everything in the room today, but I'll say one that we left out, and that is time poverty. Women are time poor. We are, and I'll use this word loosely, the care burden. We need to put that into consideration. When Ezine was speaking, she said, women rarely network. It's a struggle to get them together at some point. But for every woman in this room, there's an opportunity cost for us being here. And even engaging in this room, there are so many things we are thinking about. So let's have that at the back of our mind when we are thinking about credit.
Yes, but training doesn't always translate into results. So, how do we move from training programs to actual business transformation?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you so much, Izine, for the great work you've done. That's a $1 million question because in the development space, we're saying already that we're doing so many trainings, and a lot of them are free, and yet it appears that we might not have the impact. But I think one thing about training that we need to realize is the fact that as a facilitator, as a trainer, we can only talk, right? So you get into the space and we talk and you listen. At the end of the day, for impact to happen, there has to be doing, which is why when you think about helping develop the female entrepreneur, you cannot think about it from a silo perspective and thinking, oh, just give them money, the right type of money. You can give them the right type of money. They need 2 billion, you give it to them. But if they don't have the competence and capacity and the structures, it's going to fail. So training is important, but hand-holding, mentoring, coaching, right? Job shadowing, those are very, very important. And then lastly, giving them agency. So a lot of women that have had training who are not accessing funding the way they should comes from some lack of confidence. So beyond capital, if you take capital out, we've seen with the work we've done at EDC in the last 23 years that women, a lot of us need to build on our self-confidence. We need to work on imposter syndrome. We can't do it. We are doing it. But unlike men who don't have 2 over 10, they have 2 over 10, they go for it. We have 9.5 over 10. We don't go because we're not quite ready. We remain 0.5 to get 10 over 10. So we need to be more audacious. And as women, you're already juggling a lot of balls, right? We're doing it. So one thing that limits us is the fact that we need to just step out of our comfort zone. The programs that we are designing as ESOs and FIs should have a very strong component of ensuring that systems are being implemented. Because explaining to somebody that they need to have a structure, they need to be accountable. You've just told them that those are words. How do they do it? They need to know the how. So it's not just to tell them, go and put systems, I need collateral, go and perfect your collateral. What does that even mean? So we need to move from all the big English and tell them they need to do it this way. And if we can, whatever it is that we're designing, let's leave a small component for that. It is very, very important. In fact, one of our most successful programs, or the most successful programs that we did with Mastercard Foundation, and I can see my sister here, what we saw was that out of the 270,000 plus people that we reached out to, consistently across board, when asked what they found to have been phenomenal, to have moved the needle, it was a hand-holding, it was a mentoring, having access to small business consultant that could literally tell them this is how to do it, not what to do. So I think that hand-holding is very important.
All right, thank you. You've even answered my second question, which
Thank
is,
God.
what role does your organization play? But I would just, throw this in. What, does success look like for you in measurable terms?
For me?
Yes,
Or for
you
the
and your
women?
organization. For your
me,
organization.
as an organization, okay, so the Enterprise Women Center is a unit within Pan Atlantic University. So we're sister schools to Lagos Business School, and we're set up to deepen the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And essentially, the deepening we talk about would mean dismantling some of the restrictive, systemic barriers that have been there. For my women and for my entrepreneurs, so because they're attacking us that we are too women focused, for the entrepreneurs that we serve, for us, success would be first and foremost is sustainable business. And what does a sustainable business mean? It means that it's a business that has understood the right model that works for it, that has understood the right market it needs to serve, not what it wants to serve, but what the market requires. And it is making steady profits, and most importantly, there's a clear, strong succession pipeline. The business needs to transit from me that started it, not to my child, but to any other person within the organization. Just like we've seen Auntie Yewande do with her business, and quite a number of other, not Zafire, is it no, sorry, Eventful. Eventful has transited, and other businesses like that. They run for 20, 30 years. We need to see that this is the next level of leaders that will take that business. So making money now is okay, but can you assure that in another 60 years, that business is still existing? It might not be in the format it is today, and which is fine, right? And then the last thing is that the business is resilient. So that means the shocks that come, the COVIDs and the rest, that business is still standing gidigba. So that would be success.
Thank you very much, Dr. Neka. Thank you so much. So, Sholakbe, we're coming to you. Let's, zoom out to the ecosystem, because you're an ecosystem builder. We often see multiple stakeholders working in silos, doing similar things, but they're not necessarily making the right impact. So how do you think ecosystem players can collaborate more effectively to avoid duplication and fragmentation?
All right, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sterling, for putting this together. I think it's my first and only panel this month of March. Essentially because at a point, I think, okay, let me speak for myself. I got quite tired of the celebrations without the numbers, the celebrations without the achievements. So I think we should give Sterling Bank a round of applause. There are gaps, but then it's a journey and not a sprint. So to answer your question, I think the collaboration exists at the moment, and that's why you could see the camaraderie between us, One Foundation, Harvest, Women World Banking, EDC. In some ways, we've all been beneficiaries of each other, right? So collaboration exists, and that's why I'm quick to tell women that thing that women hate women, I think it's an agenda itself, from the pit of, you understand? Because women do love each other. We have the sisterhood, we have the community, and humans will always be humans. So you can have some badly behaved people, it's not because they are, women. And so collaboration does exist. What we need to see more of is defined roles and sustainable synergy, right? So just to bring that down, we are talking in this room now, we're being hosted by a bank, a financial giant with financial muscle, right? With proven experience, with higher regulatory policies and all of that. That is the strength of the bank. By the way, let me introduce Harvest, because I realized I just went in. So Harvest is an inclusive fintech, and we are basically focused on the LISA mission of improving women's lives by giving them greater access to and use of financial services. We do that by giving them through partnerships with the ecosystem builders, through technology. We are downloadable on app stores, and basically ensuring that finance, savings, credits, all of that gets done with financial literacy. And so I had described Harvest One Woman in that context. Then you have the fintechs, for instance, who have the agility, who have the last mile access in so many ways. Then you have ecosystem builders, you have One Woman, Women World Banking, EDC, who, I've heard a lot of capacity building, and women keep saying that. It's almost like it's more critical to them than the money. Like, show me how. So you have the capacity builders here, people who have proven so much to do that. Harvest, for instance, is a result of EDC. In 2021, our first, funding and first capacity building that makes a lot of sense for us came from EDC. And we are here today. We might not, thank you. Right, we might not be here today if we didn't get it at that point. You go into a classroom, you come and be like, oh boy, you just start calling people, say, start changing that system, start making calls, and they gave us people who held us by the hands. So we have, but what we need to see more of is sustainable synergy where we now lean into each other's strengths. Financial giants lean into that. We ride on the agility of the fintechs. We ride into the last mile access. We ride on the capacity building of the ecosystem enablers. We ride on the generosity, of the not for profit, of the foundations and their last mile access. So I think that's what we really need to build more of. Most of the time, we are in the same room, we have the conversation, then we disperse. Or at times, we start the conversation, but we do not sustain it. So let's play big ownership.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so I would also ask you, how do you think digital tools and platforms can be leveraged to accelerate growth? Because you are in the digital space, that's one of your key strengths. So how do you think that can be leveraged to accelerate
It can be leveraged in multiple ways, both internally to build or strengthen our operations for scaling, and it can also be leveraged as a means of income, as a source of driving wealth for us women. I don't know if I think she's not in town now. Adora Wodo is one of my very beautiful friends, and she said there was this time that she was teaching financial literacy, adopting digital literacy skills to some set of, I think they were students, right? Not sure if tertiary, and that she was going on and talking, and she could see them rolling their eyes. It was over their heads. And when she got to the point where she said, okay, look at me now. I think she was 24 years then. I said, I'm 24 years and I earned this. And today's exchange rate by so Miss I earned is that she had their attention. They were like this. Like, okay, tell me about it. Because the millions was doing their heading, right? That you're doing these multiple zeros, you 24. And he said, show me the way, right? So I've always said it that it's a means to, from a financial literacy perspective, from moving women to income, from income to wealth perspective, is a means to generate wealth. And on the other hand, it's also a means to scale whatever solution that you have proven. We are here today because you can hear me because this microphone, is amplifying my voice. It's a form of technology itself. One woman is here today because they've deployed so much using technology that enables their process internally. Sterling Bank is that. So there are multiple ways that it can be used, and we just lean into it from an individual perspective and a corporate perspective. Small businesses lean on other enterprises. How are you using your Excel? How are you using customer IO? What are you doing, to aggregating what customer? For instance, every time you click in some apps, you can tell where the hotspots are. You can tell, what people are having challenges. So that way you are being, as I say, you are being preemptive of your customers' pain, and you don't have to wait for them to call you. So you see that instead of having like a customer service team of 200, you can cut that by 100, and then you are satisfying your people rather than having them come to you. So multiple ways that we can cover in another session.
All right, thank you very much, Olakbe. So Olakbeju, let me bring you in here. Looking at this from a broader ecosystem, do you think we are doing enough to prepare women entrepreneurs for the digital economy?
Thank you very much. Before I start, can you please indulge me and wish the woman by your side Happy International Women's Month? Okay, and I'll just tell you well done, because every woman here is wearing several hats. Now to the question, and for the record, Stallion One Foundation is a social impact platform that seeks to address the root causes of poverty. We have a fantastic board that directs our affairs. Digital economy, let's go with the data first. So based on stats from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, just 6.2% of young women in Nigeria today have access to basic ICT skills. Let that data sink in. Just 6.2% have access to basic skills. Because women come from girls, right? Right. So at that level, the disadvantage is already showing. Today, just about 20% of women are in ICT careers. So 80% of those in all of those cybersecurity, and let me not call them because I really don't know them. I'm not one of those in that career space. They're just 20% that are women. And then 68% of women also do not have access to this phone, right? Based on data, we are definitely not doing enough. And this is not to talk about the millions of wonderful women in the rural areas that they don't even have access to the internet. So there is a lot for us to do. I commend Sterling Bank for the work they have done so far in this regard. But one thing she mentioned, now more than ever is a time for us to see how we can synergize and scale partnerships to see how we can invest more to close the digital education and access gap. Because if there's no access, we can't even start talking about impact. We can't even start talking about earning. We can't even start talking about how you can transform the life of that woman sustainably. Now that's one. Two is the need for us to see how we can collaborate more to address these issues. And my perspective, and I really love the responses earlier, when we want to do capacity building, it will be great for us to not just look at capacity building for the sake of building their capacity, but to see how can they start earning. So you're looking at it from end to end, so that the skills that you are even giving them are based on demand from the market. So we're not just looking at, oh, I'm giving you a skill set. After I give you that skill set, can I also invest in placing you? Then can I also ensure that beyond that placement, you now have a career that you can grow in? That is the way I think we should have a paradigm shift as investors in ensuring that we are doing beyond funding, not just capital. I will give one example of something that happened to us recently, and please let me put your hands together for Development Bank of Nigeria. We're privileged to co-convene the Africa Social Impact Summit, which today is the largest convening of development professionals in Africa that is hosted in Nigeria today. And we noticed over a few years that very few women come to the deal room. And then interestingly, the men that come to the drill room, you realize that they've collected money in other places. So it's almost like they know the Orijo, for those of us that they know how to pitch to get those funds. And in conversation with Development Bank of Nigeria, we decided to see how we can build the capacity of women to ensure that they will be able to access funding. And we invested in a Women Investment Readiness Accelerator. I'm glad to confirm that just this month, top 6 of those women got funding. So the thinking is, it is not just about, and these women, they are currently ongoing, having mentorship program. So after the capacity building, and it's interesting you mentioned hand-holding. After the capacity building, we now have a 6-month mentorship program. And one of our facilitators is here, Madam Mokwe. We'll give it up to you, ma'am. To ensure that because all of us have gone to school, all of us have been in those classes that you are hearing a lot, but you know you don't understand what the teacher is saying. So it is now practical hand holding. That is the way I would recommend that investment in women empowerment programs are. You're not just looking at the beginning, but you're looking at the end to ensure that every woman that goes through this program do not just get the knowledge, do not just get the skills, but eventually get the capital. And by the time they get that capital, they will have the right knowledge that the capital will not be a setup for their failure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together. You can hear the numbers speak. So my last question now would be, how do we ensure, I mean, your organization is known for interventions. So how do we ensure that those interventions lead to long-term success? You know, not just short-term wins. We are not focused. This conversation here today is not about short-term wins. We are looking at succession plans. We are looking at business. We are looking at the next level. So how do we ensure that we get long-term successes?
Thank you very much. I think I already alluded to it in my first response, but what I would only add is effective monitoring and evaluation. Effective monitoring and evaluation. 6 months down the line, these women that went through my capacity building program or my empowerment program, where are they? A year down the line, where are they? Because some of those things are missing in our intervention programs. We seem to be taken up by the cohort, trend, that at the end of the day, we report the cohorts, but we do not invest in reporting the impact. After a year, after 2 years, those things are very, very critical and important. And it will also be great if we can keep them in networks, because sometimes, like what we used to do in school, we may be in the same class, but you understand more than me. So we will come back to you to come and be our teacher in the hostel. So those networks also enhance their capacity to deliver more value and to apply more of the knowledge for the kind of results we desire to see. M&E, very critical. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for my panelists. I mean, with these questions, we've heard so much. We've learned that it's not just about funding. Funding goes a long way, but capacity, network, markets, monitoring and evaluation, it's also very important. So I'll open the mic to the floor now. I will be taking just a few questions, just 2 questions because of time. And please, we would have to move fast. Thank you, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the session. We learned a lot. My name is Oluwatosin Obi. I'm the Executive Director and Founder of our foundation. We're into and advancing the empowerment opportunities for women and youth in Africa. So basically, I think Peju said a lot, right, regarding this. And I like the fact that Sterling Bank brought it to 3 pillars: 1 woman, capital, capacity, and community. Let me dwell on community. For women like us that have been led to lead other women, so I have a woman in business community. So I'm not talking about myself as an entrepreneur now. I'm talking about my women that need funding, that need education, that need constant financial literacy. The good thing is I can balance it, because you say, what about your housekeeping? Oh, have you done your own housekeeping? I'm doing it. I used to be a banker. I used to be in Sterling Bank as well. I've worked in one woman, unit before. So I know what it is for the bank to say you are viable, your business is viable to access funding. But practices are evolving, things are changing. How do they plug into these opportunities? For constant education, I think we've said that before. So now, rather than just organizing your own events, this is like a feedback, right? There are times when you organize your own sessions, quarterly sessions. Partner with communities like ours. We have these women, close to 1,000 women. They will be talking to you in sessions. They talk to me like, oh, they can't give us money. They don't want to give us this money. They don't want. I'm like, you guys just calm down. And I had to set up a cooperative so that, because it's easier to access. You need an urgent funding now. I can provide it as a cooperative founder. Is licensed, by the way. This was born out of the need. And that was a gap. Now that one woman is going deeper in serving women, I want to please crave your indulgence to partner with communities. Partner with founders that have the pool of the entrepreneurs that you need. Begin to enter the event and speak. I understand you're running away from funding. They will say, oh, they want you to just sponsor. Do what you can do to support the event. It's not about you bringing out millions. But ensure that there is cost benefit. You understand the value of the event you are going for. You pass on your information and you follow up. That's always missing. Right? So I think that's just what I need to say. Please increase your partnerships with communities, with founders, and look at passionate ones. Because when you have the character as a founder, you see to the end of it. Consistency is key. When you see them online, you can check it. That's our CV, what we've done in the past, what we're doing currently, what we're building. And then if you're able to do this, we have more women move forward and advance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to take one more question, please. Please, there's someone in front here. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I really want to appreciate Sterling Bank, and getting feedback is very important. You know, it's not just about doing things. It's about really knowing if what you're doing is impactful. So very similar to what she said, I think Sterling Bank needs to be more visible. And visibility cannot come without partnership. You know, so for me, when I reached out to Sterling Bank for something very similar to what she said, I began to hear things that really baffled me. So I was able to partner with an organization, a microfinance bank, that sponsored an event that I did for over 1,000 women. And they threw the women into something I don't even want to say now, because it was a kind of interest that killed them. It was a kind of interest that threw them off balance. It was a kind of interest that took them from the lowest to the very lower place. You know, so when I got to know about Sterling Bank, I felt very bad that, why are you people not out there? So you can actually get to know more, meet more people, or make what you're doing more visible by partnering. You know, very important. Then I also like us to, because I've been hearing women are this, women are that. I'm a certified psychotherapist, and I've been part of the SCMP at EDC. So I understand that there's a problem with generalization. It's a serious problem. Women are lazy, men are scum. This, that. We tend to generalize, and this has really, laid us back in doing certain things for women, thinking that all women are the same. Some women are even stronger than men. In fact, women have it. We are stronger than men. Sorry, men, it's the truth. I just need to tie a watermelon on a woman's tummy now, and you will see it won't be able to walk. And you see a woman will carry pregnancy for 9 months. So women, we are stronger. But please just give us that opportunity. Try us. These women are willing. The bank I was talking about gave as low as 50,000 naira to a woman. And what she was able to do in just 3 months, she was able to get things when she snapped and sent to me. But the interest killed the business back. Killed the business back, And the thing about womanhood is, from 50,000, she was able to build herself to the point where she now got a funding of 1 million naira. And so she will not forget that bank, even though the bank didn't help her. For me, that's not help, So if you have something viable, something that can last the test of time, and also something that will not kill them, please, let's put it out there. And I'm sure that women are ready to take advantage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. Please put your hands together. All right. So back to my panelists. We are closing out now. In a minute, please just give us a closing statement. Starting from Dr. Neka.
Thank you very much again, Sterling Bank. And I know a lot of us are tired because we've gone for different IWD events and we keep saying the same thing. It seems as if we're just repeating. But essentially, let's not lose focus on what this panel was focusing on. There's so much noise in the room. Hello, are you with me? Forgive me, I'm a lecturer. That's why we're like this. So let's not forget the reason why we're having this conversation, and really is looking at the ecosystem and the things that we need to do as players in that space. So I think for me, in closing, I would say that for all of us that are in this space, we need to invest. And we need to invest in CASE. So CASE is CASE. We need to invest in building the confidence of women. Whether we like it or not, we all have to. It's whether you take it as you're paid forward, whatever it is, we need to invest in ensuring that we shore up the confidence of women so that rather than asking for 50,000, we ask for the 5 million that we need and we can use and we can absorb and we can understand what the life cycle. We shouldn't be afraid to. The A is to invest in access. Access to whether it's resources, whether it is market, whether it is communities like Selling One or like my sister at the back that says she has another community. But we need to invest in access. The S is for the hand-holding, which is the support. So cash alone at a certain level is not enough. There's a level you get to where all your structures are there, your corporate governance is there, you're fine. But at a certain level, the level we've been discussing, we must have support. And the E is expansion. We need to move from just developing women to ensuring that we are scaling them sustainably. And that would be it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. I think for me, I would just like to remind us that the women group is not homogeneous. So, like she alluded to, it's not one size fits all. When you are designing for women, let's design with their realities in mind. Women comes from they come from a place of trust. So let's align that to whatever solutions that we are designing for them. If it's the credit, if it's the capacity building, let it be in line with their realities. You would make a woman thrive if she trusts you. Let's leverage their community. Let's leverage their peer groups. So if I tell a woman something, if she doesn't know me, she might struggle to believe me. But if it's somebody in an association that they've seen it, they can relate to it, it is easier for them to buy in. So when we say that, oh, the information is out there and the women are not getting it, we need to confirm what is the source of this information. Do they trust the source? The moment they trust the source, they're on eagle's wings. They will soar and they'll fly. Thank you.
All right, for me, firstly, just to round up the earlier conversation, it is for us to deepen the ecosystem, moving, so fast and skipping, not essentially skipping. I mentioned that because in my head, I think I've seen tens of MOUs that never saw the light of execution. So, like, we do all the due diligence, we do the MOUs, but after the understanding, let us then proceed to execute the understandings. Away from that, I was at an event, I think about 3 days ago, the church. We've been doing some business development in churches because we said, let's take this into the house of God, right? Holiness is not poor, poverty isn't holy. And what I kept hearing from the women were, oh, we applied for this grant, oh, we applied for this funding, but people inside told us that they've already pre-chosen, they pre-picked whoever they wanted to. I said, who told you that? I mentioned this earlier, there are some other fundings that we've gotten lines from Sterling Bank themselves here, and it wasn't because we knew someone or someone said, don't worry, you'll make it. We went through, they got all the documents, and then I said, okay, how many grants have you applied for here? And the person said 3. I said 3. The magic number for when you are seeking for fund, grants, equity, whatever it is 80. That's the magic number. So just know that you're on your road to 100 applications. Are you ready or not, please? So at times we say, oh, they don't give us, they don't, because you apply for 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I think that we should. What you mentioned the other day, those men, they go into those rooms. Trust me, they are going to 4. They are roving. They live there, they go into another, they go there, they keep going, right? I saw one of my sisters in the room earlier. I think was it last year or the year before? She got $1 billion from this same bank, right? But this is someone that we always day in our DM say, how far? Have you applied for this? Have you applied for that? Like she kept going. So we just need to keep going. It's been said on this stage to that audacity. Maybe we need to productize it and start selling to each other. Thank you so much.
Okay, in the spirit of audacity. Okay, last year we started a partnership with the African Union, and the goal is to unlock $100 billion by 2030 and empower 10 million women and youth. The program is called Women and Youth Financial and Economic Inclusion. Sterling One Foundation is privileged to be the private sector anchor for that program, and it was launched with the Office of the Vice President January this year. This is the time to clap. Now, to the point, all of us are going to bring that 10 million women and youth and the $100 million. So we're putting structures in place for getting the data. Because we're doing so much work, it would be great if all of us can check a dashboard to see how many women everybody here has transformed in the last 1 year. It doesn't exist. So this is an area that we're looking to invest in. So I'm an NGO, so I'm putting out a call. Anyone that is interested in partnering with us, we'll be glad to do this work with you because we think the ecosystem needs it, and data is the new oil. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for my panel. So the clear takeaway from this conversation is invest in case. You should build women's trust in your community. You should remember that the magic number is, does anybody remember? 80. And then we should ensure that we build our ecosystems in our various groups. So thank you for listening to us. And to my panelists, thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our panelists. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention so far. I want to believe that this engagement has been fruitful and has been insightful. So, all good things must indeed come to a close. So as we bring this event to a close, I'd like to welcome Akpore Idenado, Divisional Head Commercial Banking, to give our closing remarks. Please, a warm round of applause for him as he comes up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Maybe I need to check the room a bit. If I say one woman, we say Happy Women's Month. One woman. Happy Women's Month. The room is not charged enough. One woman. Happy Women's Month. Okay, thank you very much. I'm really excited about the conversations. I love the energy, the passion, and the honesty. Thank you so much, Mrs. Shonibare, Mrs. Agbato, and the other women that spoke. we hear you, we get the feedback, and we will do something about it. Trust us, because we are doing this deliberately. We are really serious about the 3 C's, right? Capital, community, and capacity. But what I would love to say for the women entrepreneurs here is that community and capacity is what you layer capital on. And you listen to all the panelists. I'm speaking as a banker now. Capacity is really key. The 50,000 that got, one of our panelists talked about 50,000, someone getting 50,000, and the business died. If you layer capital on no capacity, most likely the business will die, right? So we are deliberate about those 3 C's: capital, community, and capacity. And I've said that the first 2 are community and what? Capacity. That's what you layer capital on. If you don't take anything away from what we've discussed today, please do not miss this. Lastly, the statistics. I just looked at one statistic before I got up. Women make up 50% of the population of Nigeria. For every 102 men, there are 100 women. So you can imagine what we are leaving on the table, right? If we don't empower women, right? So we are doing this, like I said, deliberately to build capacity, to create platforms for women to thrive. On behalf of Sterling Bank, I want to thank every one of you for coming. We really want to partner with you, and we're on this journey with you. I also want to thank my colleagues, the One Woman team, for doing a very great job, and to our panelists as well. Thank you so much for coming, and happy Women's Month.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you've had an amazing time. As Akori said, thank you very much for coming, but we won't send you away just like that. We want to make sure that, like I said at the beginning, you have the opportunity to network. Your solution is in this room. Walk around, get talking. There are panelists you had questions for, comments you wanted to make. There is time to do that. And lunch is served. So right at the back of the room or outside the room, you will find that lunch is served. So please do have something to eat and drink before you leave. Once again, my name is Utielu, and it's been an absolute, I knew I was going to have fun, and I really did. It's been an absolute pleasure being the host for this event today. Do have a safe trip home. Thank you so much.
For years, across Nigeria, women have been central to economic growth, yet disproportionately excluded from it. Many are building businesses without access to capital, structured support, or the network required to scale. At Sterling, this was not just a statistic, it was a pattern we encountered repeatedly and really influenced in the businesses we support. The question became clear: what will it take to intentionally change the outcome? We launched a one-way initiative to expand financial access, strengthen women-led businesses, and provide platforms for those who build and grow. Because when women are given the tools to succeed, the impact extends beyond businesses, families, communities, and became itself.
My name is Mobana Jodindaro. I'm the founder of Succeeded Media. My name is Mrs. Abdul. I always say this person. I'm also a mom for I am Adebisi Adesola, the founder of the The first time I ever did a fair, it was a teaching day that was very much. I'm not actually projected the business. I got the facility to make a stamp and stuff. It was also happening. Recently, I got the BOI loan through even when I got the disbursement, I was surprised that wow, was that money?
Touch those areas and women. Go back to the time and a woman goes without
Yes, you did.
That man wey dey do video, highlight.
First time I ever did a fair, it was a teaching day, it was very much. I'm not actually projected the business. And also, recently I got the BOI loan through even when I got the
It's important to support women because women are the backbone of any economy. In fact, giving to women is the now best thing.
Our goal in 5 years for One Woman Initiative of Sterling Bank is to reach 1 million women across businesses and careers.
When we lend our voice, give access, sponsor and champion women, we don't lose ground. We expand the possibilities of growth and transformation.
Going back to the tagline, enriching lives, a woman goes beyond her business. She goes into her family, and that's what makes us different.
For years, across Nigeria, women have been central to economic growth, yet disproportionately excluded from it. Many are building businesses without access to capital, structured support, or the networks required to scale. At Sterling, this was not just a statistic. It was a pattern we encountered repeatedly in the women we engaged and the businesses we supported. The question became clear. What would it take to intentionally change this outcome? We launched the One Woman Initiative to expand financial access, strengthen women-led businesses, and provide a platform for women to build and grow. Because when women are given the tools to succeed, the impact extends beyond the businesses to families, communities, and the economy itself.
My name is Mobolaji Ogundairo. I'm the founder of Sophisticated Bobia.
My name is Mrs. Adewi Arowolo Ikosola. I'm an wholesaler for ready-made garments for all genders and all age groups.
I am Adebisi Adeshola, the founder of the Meat Meal.
One Woman has been in existence for a while. For the past 6 months to 12 months, we've given out over 25 billion as SME loans to women-owned businesses. We have also supported over 50,000 women in capacity building, from building their businesses, helping them to structure.
The first time I ever did a fair, which was the Eat Drink Lagos, was Sterling Bank, and that actually projected the business.
Sterling Bank actually supported me in getting my solar here, and I got the facility to, expand my stock, which has also helped my business.
Recently, I got the BOI loan through Sterling Bank.
Even when I got the disbursements, I was surprised that, wow, so fast. It was less than a week.
We provide a platform that gives them banking that builds for them, gives them financing that supports them, and also a community that grows with them.
Getting the support from Stanley has really helped me to expand my stock.
Because I haven't been able to keep power going for a long period, I have purchased the chilling system that keeps coolness, and that means that I'm saving on waste.
We saw some businesses that took capital from us, growing their businesses and doing more, over 50% of what they were doing before.
If we touch those areas, then the economy grows. And then if we touch those areas around women, then it even does better.
It's important to support women because women are the backbone of any economy. In fact, giving to women is the now best thing.
Our goal in 5 years for One Woman Initiative of Sterling Bank is to reach 1 million women across businesses and careers.
When we lend our voice, give access, sponsor and champion women, we don't lose ground. We expand the possibilities of growth and transformation.
Going back to the tagline, enriching lives, a woman goes beyond her business. She goes into her family, and that's what makes us different.
For years, across Nigeria, women have been central to economic growth, yet disproportionately excluded from it. Many are building businesses without access to capital, structured support, or the networks required to scale. At Sterling, this was